Now, when it comes to car buying, we Filipinos are a very simple lot. We just want to get the best value out of our money. In short, we want everything. But that's what we're gonna figure out today with this one right here in the hotly contested 7-seater MPV market. And I think we found something. What's going on, guys? Roy Robles here from Zigwheels.Ph, and today we'll be reviewing the MG G50 Plus. Now, 2-3 years back, we reviewed the Maxus G50. Now, although it was quite a 7-seater vehicle, there are a couple of things that we want changed about it. Now that MG's taken over that model with the MG G50 Plus, I think they've addressed a couple of things that we'll be talking about later on. For starters, the front end, it now features even more chrome. Now, guys, you know me, I'm not really that particular with choosing my chrome, but this one right here, it kind of fits it quite nicely. You are, in fact, driving around with a premier-ish or a premium-ish 7-seater MPV, and I think these horizontal chrome strips right here that are intertwined with a couple of sporty little bits for the grille actually kind of look pretty nice. And the MG badge right here in the front fits the bill really nicely. You've got some character lines right here on the hood, and underneath that you've got a 1.5 liter turbocharged engine with quite a surprise. We'll be talking about that later on. You won't find any cameras right here in the front because there are no 360-degree cameras. It does not have any advanced driver assist systems. And yes, it does look kind of like a tall boy right here in the front end, but wait till you see the side. So this is exactly where you see how tall this thing is, but just in the right places. You got this huge greenhouse right here that helps out with the interior space, so it does not feel claustrophobic on the inside. You got 17-inch alloy wheels, 230 millimeters of ground clearance right there, which gives it a little bit more street cred, especially if you're trying to traverse a few flooded roads, but do not bring this out. You got these roof rails on top, which looks pretty functional because you don't get any sunroofs on the top. Again, I like to admire how large the greenhouse is right here. Plus, you've got a floating roofline effect because of this blacked out D-pillar right here on the back. I wish that the rear doors, they are sliding so that it can add a little bit more to that premier-ish effect. But thanks to these large doors that open to an almost 45-degree angle, it is easy to get in and out. That's why I had to check the specs and double check, triple check it, because it says it has 230 millimeters of ground clearance, but getting in and out is no problem in the MG G50 Plus. Again, this is where the show would be. I like how it looks. It looks different. It looks functional. Is it sporty? I don't think so, but let's take a look at the rear. Now, if there was one place that the MG G50 actually gives it a more premier-ish feel, trying to aim for the stars, if you may, it's right here in the back. You got LED tail lamps in the back. You got this blacked out bar right here as well, giving it that premier look. You don't get any other bits and pieces right here except for these chrome bits as well. But you hear a couple of things that you might help you out when you're driving. You got parking sensors. You got a rear camera right there. You got the MG badge fitting the entire MG G50. And of course, Brit Dynamic, which is something they're definitely proud of. Now you got a manual tailgate as well. You don't get any power tailgates here, but those are one of the things that I am more than willing to admit if it just means that you're going to put the price down, giving you access to all this space here. Despite the fact that you've got the third row seats up, I can still fit all of my bags on the the back right here. Now, if you need even more space, you can fold these third row seats down in a 60-40 split configuration, and it gives you a flat floor, an absolutely flat floor. Now, what you have right here is the 7-seater configuration of the MG G50. Now, we got an 8-seater configuration where you get to omit those captain seats in the second row and you have a bench seat instead. Now, if you get that particular variant, you can actually fold the second row seats down as well, giving you almost a truck-like capacity on the inside. The interior of the MG G50 has me quite surprised. Despite the fact that I've already seen this in the Maxus G50, I'm still surprised of what a tale of contrasting ideas the interior is. I mean, it wants to be modern, it's got some modern amenities, but it's got some old school features as well, which we'll be talking about in a little bit. For starters, we want to start with this huge touchscreen infotainment system that has Apple CarPlay, but no Android Auto. Now, it has QD Link, which is a phone mirroring app, but once you start driving with the QD Link, it suddenly turns off the screen mirroring. So if you're an Android user like me, boo-hoo for us, because we won't be able to use our favorite driving apps like Waze, like Google Maps, like YouTube. Just kidding, don't use YouTube while you're driving. But yes, you won't be able to see all that on your screen unless you've got Apple products, you got an iPhone. So right here on the gauge cluster, you got a huge multi-information display too. It's a monochrome display. It gives you basic information that you need, but the thing about that is that you don't have any buttons right here to access all the information that you have. You have these two stalks that are sticking out of the gauges here for you to change whatever mode you want to check. Remember what I said? It's a study of contrast. You got a nice touchscreen, but you've got a monochrome multi-information display. But again, that's all right. At least they gave us something that we can actually see, while other cars might have a full color display, but it's all flash, no pizzazz. This one here is just straightforward as you can. You got some physical gauge clusters right here, some analog ones as well, which is something that I do appreciate. You got a steering wheel that is adjustable only for rake, not for reach, but that's fine because again, the seats here are fairly comfortable. They're very supportive. You got some bolsterings on each side, but they're wide enough and forgiving enough if you still haven't lost that holiday weight. It's been 7 months, you might want to lose that, but if you haven't, yes, you got it right here, which is fine. Plus room right here width wise, so even if you stretch your arms out like this driving, it's no problems. And you've got power seats for both the driver and the passenger, which is at this price point is unheard of, definitely. Now this is also one of the quirkiest cars out there because as you can see, there are no shifters right here in the middle of the center console. No shifters right there. We know where the shifters are, right here on the right stalk where the wipers should be. So it may take a little bit getting used to. There is a learning curve for this, so you got to remember the right stalk is your shifter. Usually with other cars they would have a different shifter. They could have a third stalk, but instead they transferred the wiper stalk right here on the left side and then gave us the lighting implementation as buttons right here on the dashboard, in the left side of the dashboard, pretty much like a Euro car. What it does is that it saves us a lot of space right here in the middle. You got more cubby holes right here. You get a fake wireless charger. I called it a fake wireless charger because this is where you put your phone, and you would expect wireless charging right there, but you don't have it. You got two cup holders, your electronic parking brake, automatic brake hold, stability control button, and some blank buttons. I'm missing out on the blank buttons. It's piano black, so unfortunately it will smudge, it will scratch, even if you just look at it funny. In fact, there it is. It's starting to smudge without even me touching it. For the AC controls, you've got some capacitive buttons right here in the middle. So when you do press it, it does show up on the screen. It's also not ideal for me to have that. I would rather have preferred, physical dials and buttons like in other cars. But again, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get the most value out of the cash that you pay. And they definitely show that value right here on the dashboard. On the door cards, you got these nice soft touch materials. You got perforated leather right here on the middle of the dashboard, soft touch on the top, and hard plastics on the bottom where you don't actually touch it and where you need it to be hard touch because you want this to be easy to clean. Now right here on the door cards, you have this is this marble looking trim right here. I'm just glad that they didn't make this carbon fiber and instead gave us this marble print on the hard plastic right there, which gives it a little bit more interesting pattern. All the windows are one touch up and down. That's again something that you won't see on budget MPVs. Instead, you get this right here in the MG G50, and I am happy that it is here. Also, right here on the center console, it is padded. So if you're driving around and you're resting your knee against the center console, you won't have a bruise while you're driving. Trust me, while long driving in other cars without that padding in the center console, my knee gets a little bit bruised right there, and this one helps out avoiding that injury. Plus you got a cubby right here underneath the center console. You got this split opening center console for which acts as the armrest as well. You got two USB-A ports right here. One is for connecting your phone and one is for charging. It's just 5-volt, but thankfully we do have this fast charger right here that can connect to the cigarette charger right there, the 12-volt socket. I mean, you don't get adaptive cruise control right here, but you do have paddle shifters, a nicely weighted steering wheel, all good. Let's take a look at the second row seats and see what we can find right there in store for the passengers. All right, so we're here in the second row seats of the MG G50, and yes, it seems to be a recurring theme with the MPVs being sold in the market today. Everyone's trying to give the consumers these captain seats, and I do appreciate the captain seats. They're nice and they're very comfortable, especially for the long drives. But for usability purposes, I think a bench would be more useful. Thankfully, MG does have that option available for people who want to get a bench seat. So if you want to get captain seats, you got this. And if you want to get a bench seat, that's also available for you. And if you fold those second row seats down, you get a completely flat rear end. I know you guys don't like completely flat rear ends, but anyway, yes, we got all your controls right here for the AC, which is nice. So you have controls for the AC vents on top. You got another 5-volt USB-A port and another 12-volt socket, a cubby hole for all your stuff. You got some pockets right here on the side as well, but I think that's just to put in some papers, some receipts. I wouldn't be risking putting my phone in there because it looks pretty tight. So she said. But anyway, you got some more pockets right here. You got 2 extra pockets for your phones, a map pocket right there. Who uses maps? That's for your laptop. That's for your iPad. So you got an iPad pocket here. And being a unibody MPV or van, you have a completely flat floor. So you won't find any transmission humps or any humps at all. It's completely flat. And because of the aforementioned greenhouse you got here, you got headroom for days. Absolutely days. This is amazing. I mean, for the passenger, not for the driver, for the passenger, it's a treat. It's a treat to be here in the back. So you got, again, your automatic windows that close all the way down. So if you're a little bit claustrophobic, you can just open that up, no problems. Wow. And the seats have the same quality. They have the same type of support that the front seats have. So you're definitely not missing out. And you got room here for your knees and your feet. So I'm curious how the third row seat space is with this current position. So let's check that out. One take. Oh, hey. Oh, wow. Okay. This is this is surprising because, like I said, I am sitting in my natural position in the second row. Usually what that means is that it's not going to give me any more space right here in the third row seats, but check this out. You got knee room, you got room for your feet, and probably 2 of myself in the back can fit perfectly fine. You got 2 cup holders here, 1 USB-A port for charging. This is a great place to be in. I think I found my new winner for the third row seat space, and I think it's in the MG G50 Plus. But how's it for the driver? Let's try that out. All right, so behind the wheel of the MG G50, you've got a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder gasoline engine under the hood. It makes around 180 horsepower and 250 Newton meters of torque. If that engine sounds familiar, you can basically find that engine, well, not that engine configuration in a lot of the crossover SUVs in the market today, which were basically cars smaller and lighter than this one. But in the MG G50, it definitely is adequate. It just won't be a speed demon. It's not meant to be a speed demon because you don't want to scare your passengers right there in the back. You want them to be driven around in a very comfortable drive, and that's what the MG G50 delivers. And speaking of that drive, that comfort, it's definitely smooth. You've got a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. Now, the previous Maxus G50 also had a dual clutch transmission, but this one right here has been thoroughly improved. It is much smoother. There is still a little bit of that characteristic jerkiness whenever you're stuck in traffic, more particularly, but it's a lot smoother. There is a bit of power lag to be expected from a small turbocharged gasoline engine, but in case you're wondering if it's going to be safe to overtake, well, you got to plan your overtakes, especially on the open highway and in two-way streets. You definitely want to plan them out, but it can definitely take you. And going up a hill, going to Baguio, even with a lot of people right there in the back and their luggage, should be no problems as well. All right, suspension-wise, it's a little bit floaty, but that's really part of the course with these types of vehicles. So you got a McPherson strut set up front and a torsion bar rear suspension in the back. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why doesn't it have independent suspension all around? Why? Are you going to take this canyon carving? Suspension-wise, it's floaty, it's comfortable, which means steering is barely there. There's no driving dynamics at all. But what that means is that it's as effortless as a drive as it's ever going to be. MG didn't even try its hardest to give at least some weight to the steering wheel. There's nothing there. Nothing there. But what that means is that you've got this comfortable appliance ready to take you and your family around town, and that's enough. That's basically a purpose-driven car right here. And for whatever purpose it may serve, mission accomplished. Fuel economy of the MG G50 is understandably not going to be record-breaking. It's not even going to be it's not going to be as close to a hybrid or an electric vehicle at all. In the city, it does get a commendable 7 to 8 kilometers per liter in the city, which is not bad considering that I got a lot of stuff in the back. When I was testing this out, I got 2 people in the back as well, and they found it really comfortable. But never did I ever think that I'm using too much gasoline here, because I know that for what I'm getting, for what I'm driving around this huge hulking MPV, that's all right. I mean, that's definitely up to par with this kind of weight, the kind of power that you're getting. Sure. Now, out on the highway, you're able to get 14, that's right, 14 kilometers per liter and the highway. So it's not going to be a fuel-sipping car, but it's not going to be a gas guzzler as well. Now, let's talk about NVH levels. Now, I must commend MG for engineering the G50 in such a way that you keep the outside noise, the outside world, as isolated from you and your passengers as much as possible. Now, you can't be helped if you can hear some motorcycles on the road, but the thing is, it does mute a lot of the sounds quite well, even road sounds. Those tires, those hard rolling tires, yeah, they can be pretty harsh, but on the inside, you can barely hear it, including the engine. That's the beauty of getting a gasoline MPV. Now, if you get, well, obviously, you've got some diesel-powered ones, but you can definitely feel the clatter. You can hear it permeating through the cabin. Here, it is quiet as possible. All you can hear right now is the smooth air conditioning system, but nothing else. Now, out on the highway though, once you get up to speed around 80 kilometers per hour, there is a little bit of wind noise, especially with these huge side mirrors right here. There's going to be some wind noise that's going to permeate through the cabin, but nothing too disturbing. You got 4 airbags, ABS with electronic brake force distribution, you got traction control, which is very important of course, and cruise control. That's it. So you got a backup camera as well, you got rear parking sensors. That's basically all you need, because if your basics are all set right, for example, you've got this great visibility all around, you don't really need a lot of those features. All right, so pricing for the MG G50 starts at 1,048,888 pesos for the standard manual transmission. You heard me right. It has a manual variant available. It's a 6-speed manual transmission. If you remember the G50 of old, we were able to test a manual transmission with a 6-speed, and it felt okay, especially for driving around the city. It's smooth, it's soft, the clutch engagement is easy. And that's what we got right here. Now this is the full fat version. This is the MG G50 Plus Luxury 7-seater variant, and this is available at 1,288,888 pesos. There's also an 8-seater variant which has the same price, 1,288,888 pesos. Now, once you're open to buying an MG G50, and I know a lot of people have already done that, that means you got more cash, you got more savings to spend on more important things. Now you can go ahead and go out to your drive, but you should probably be stopping yourself because you'd be paying more for monthly amortization. But you can actually save that money, save whatever you're going to spend, and then use it for your trips. You got it right here. Now the MG G50 might not have all of the features that you're looking for. It doesn't have Android Auto, doesn't have a vanity light, vanity mirrors, nor does it have advanced driver assist systems. But what it does have in spades is comfort. Driving dynamics has been sent out the window. These huge windows, I think the driving dynamics fell off these huge windows. But comfort-wise, ease of entry with this 45-degree opening doors, and of course, the initial price. It's really hard to beat the MG G50. Right now, I'm thinking the reason why we're seeing a lot of these on the road right now is because of that value proposition that it offers. It's not compromising anything when it comes to comfort. When it comes to luxury, you get that feeling of premium. Remember when I said it on the outside, premium-ish? Sometimes having that premium-ish is enough for you to get a particular vehicle. I mean, everything else notwithstanding, if you're in the market for this one, you're not going to regret it. So there you have it, my blokes and bollocks, the MG G50 Plus. Overall, it's a great package for exactly what you pay for. But what do you think? Drop me a comment in the comment section down below, and while you're at it, subscribe to our channel and hit that notification icon so you wouldn't miss any of our videos. We're almost at 50,000 subscribers. Will you be one of our first 50,000 subscribers? We'll find out. This has been Roy Robinson, Zigwheels.Ph. I will see you guys next time.